everybody's pipes are freezing, obviously you're not plumbers, okay? And you should call a licensed plumber. But if your house is flooding and 911's not getting there fast enough, because just remember that when seconds count, the police are just minutes away, and your house is flooding and that's your greatest that's your greatest asset, don't wait for them, okay? So you're gonna find a black box that looks similar to this. This is your water meter, okay? From your house, it's gonna be pretty close to the street somewhere. There'll be something like this. There should also be a green lid that's kind of close to your house, probably in your flower beds, and that usually has like a manual shut off or like another shut off. There should be one. There's not always, but there's usually one of these. Sometimes you have to have a different kind of a key, but nevertheless, these are smart meters, so they're wired. You can just they can drive by and read it. Okay, so now down in here, there's usually a it's difficult to see. That's where your meter is, right? But then there's this thing that looks like that, okay? And so imagine that your pipe is like this and there's a ball valve in it. And so if this is going this way with the pipe, then that means it's on. And if it's perpendicular to the pipe like that, then that means it's off. And so there's this tool right here, and you put that on there, and then you can turn it. I'm not going to do it right now because the water's off. You can turn it and it'll be parallel with the pipe, and that means it's on, or you turn it this way and it'll be off. Now sometimes they got a positive stop. There'll be 2 holes, and once you line the 2 holes up, that means it's off, and that's how they can put a padlock in there if you don't pay your bill. So that's something to know. I've had a bunch of people all day long and for the last couple of days like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do this? How do you do this? And so now that's how you do it, right? And then obviously, I'm not saying this for rank amateurs. I'm not saying this for old women or whatever. I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't want you to hurt yourself. But if you're semi-handy, and you think that you can probably handle something like this, then that's what your water meter looks like. You want a tool like this, about $10. You can also get like pliers or anything else, but this is like way easier. And it's, like I said, $10 or $12 at Home Depot. I think Home Depots are closed right now, is what Jeremy just told me, because we've been there several times today. But stay safe, stay warm. If you don't have power, give me a call, come over to my house. I got extra bed. All right, bye. Hey, so I want to talk to you guys about loving your neighbor as yourself and why it's so important, right? So a lot of times we hear that, right? And we're like, yeah, I love my neighbor, like far away neighbor. Like you're in Africa, I want to give you some money, like a little bit, not much, not enough to hurt me. Or like you're my neighbor, you're my friend or something. But I'm talking about like your next door neighbor. I'm talking about the people in your neighborhood. Obviously it goes beyond that, but that matters too. And I see a lot of people like, ooh, I don't want to talk to them, or my neighbor looked at me, it's time for me to move, or something like that. And I'm like, these people are around you, they can be a valuable asset, and you can be a valuable asset to them, and we need to love each other and help each other. So I want to tell you the story because I think it's very important. You see this white horse right here? Several years ago, probably I think 9 years ago, something like that, my girlfriend at the time was outside my house at about midnight, and she said, babe, there's a horse that's crying. You want me to come in? So there's a horse that's screaming outside. I'm like, horses don't scream. And she's like, yes, this horse is screaming. And so I went outside and I listened. I'm like, see nothing. And after a minute I was like, that sounds like a horse screaming, and I'd never heard it before. And so because I'm a worthless piece of human garbage, I'm like, all right, well, let's go to bed. We got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's already past midnight. And she's like, we have to help this horse. I'm like, we don't have to help the horse. She's like, we have to help the horse because she's a good person, has a good heart, not like me. And so I'm like, all right. So we look around the neighborhood because a lot of people have horses in this neighborhood, and we walk around. And so there's a friend of mine that lived over in this house over here. You can point over there. That white house over there. And I'd met him once or twice, and I thought to myself, there's people walking around. I can see like silhouettes moving, so I'm not going to wake him up. So I knock on the door and I'm like, hey, but then it turns out he's gone and there's another neighbor there. And so I'm like, hey, look, I'm not trying to bother you. I know it's the middle of the night, but we heard a horse screaming. And he's like, whatever. And I was like, I know you have a bunch of horses, so maybe check on your horses. And he's like, yeah. He's like, basically, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up, horses don't scream. And I'm like, that's what I thought too. Here's my business card. If you need something, then let me know. So we look around. After a while, he goes, I'm going to look too. And then finally we gave up because we couldn't hear anything. So we go to bed, and then I get a phone call like an hour later, and he says, you saved a life tonight. And it was that horse's life. And that horse had his face stuck inside of a water barrel, and it was drowning, and his back legs were stuck in a fence, and it was drowning. And so it would sit there like drowning for as long as it possibly could, and then push itself up and scream for its life, and then until it was completely exhausted, and then would go back down to the bucket, right? And so because she has a good heart, not me, and because James over here has a good heart and actually went and helped our actual neighbors, not far off neighbors, our next door neighbors, then that horse lived. And she was going through a really hard time at the time, and we were happy that we got to help. So fast forward a little bit. In 2014, I built a house 3 doors down from my house, and while I was doing that one, yeah, I got it. While I was doing that one, I posted pictures, and it turns out that this guy just shows up, and I'm like, how in the world? I haven't seen you since I was 16 years old. And he goes, yeah, well, I saw pictures, and I recognize the house because my aunt lives in this house around the corner. Well, it turns out that's Damian Patino. And if you guys have read my book or seen my video, then you know that when I was a drug dealer, when I overdosed and died and went to hell, that he was the one that cared about me, and he was the one that shared the gospel with me. And because of him, I'm a Christian. And so I owe my life to him, right? And it turns out that that is his aunt, and that is her horse. And so things kind of come around. So then fast forward a little bit longer, and he sells me the house across the street. And I'm like, okay, cool. And we tore that down a couple years back, and then we built another house that you guys have seen plenty of pictures of. And that's my friend Jeremy now lives there, and we've been friends for 28 years. And I love Jeremy. And the fact that he's my neighbor, I love it. In fact, he's filming right now. Well, then we ended up buying this piece of property back here, and that's the house I'm building right now. So hopefully I'm gonna have a friend that comes and lives in that house, which I absolutely love. And then because of James, he lives right there. And then he had a problem, and I ended up buying all that property, and I'm gonna subdivide it and let him stay in his house and sell that to him, but then subdivide that and make a bunch more houses so that I can have neighbors I love. Because I think it's important to love your neighbor as yourself. And it's a valuable asset. And like Colby around the corner, his place was burned down a while back, and we helped out with that. And I love my neighbors. I just absolutely love my neighbors. And I think that if you are not taking time with your neighbors, you're robbing yourself. So anyway, that's that. So as we're going through the blizzard of 2021, which was right after everything of 2020, everybody's pipes are bursting. I probably got, I don't know, 7 calls this morning already, and I realize I'm not a licensed plumber, but I don't care because I got friends. And so this was a problem. They were like, hey, our water is coming out underneath the dishwasher. Okay, so here's the dishwasher over here, and we don't know what the problem is, blah, blah, blah. Thank God, like they really got lucky because it's only destroying things where you can't see it, and that's easy to fix, right? But we had to get all this yuck out of the way, and when I did, I shed some blood. But we got it out and then turned the water on, and it turns out it was back up behind this PVC pipe, back in here, and this is what it looks like. That little culprit right there, that's where so the water expands when it freezes, and when it does, then it bursts the pipe and then water comes out. And then, Joey, was that a lot of water or like a little bit of water? Did it feel like just a trickle?
It was a lot of water. There was water all over the kitchen.
How long did that take?
That took, I don't know, how long did it take? An hour? An hour and a half to, moments to get
Moments. It took
Seconds.
moments. If you don't stop this within seconds, you'll probably die. You'll probably drown. And I don't care if you got doors you can open and let the water out. It doesn't matter. You're still going to drown. That's how that works. It's science. Okay, so anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to, I cut this with the tubing cutter. Okay, so this tubing cutter, and this is, look, Home Depot is short on everything right now, and I'm not trying to make any money off of this in real life, but this is how it works, okay? You cut out the bad, boom, and then you just put in the new. And so that is how you fix the problem. So what I was thinking about doing until just this very last second was to put an elbow on there, shark bite elbow, and then come out with it, and then stub this out, and then put a cap on it so that later on they could put a shut-off valve, because I don't have any with me. But I think what I'm going to do is just get a coupling and just put that right on there and put that right on there and stick it right back out, and we'll be good. So that should be a pretty simple fix. But I want to talk to you about government right now, because everybody, I hear all these people, blah, 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 the government should take care of this, the government should take care of that. And I'm like, look, I'm all for small government, almost no government. And here's why. Because I think if there's a problem, you need to have accountability as an individual, okay? So you need to be like, I have a problem, I should fix my problem. Now, if your problem is, and look, I understand people are disabled, they have hard times, I'm the first to come help, trust me, I will. If there's a problem, your family comes and helps you next, because it's your family's responsibility. In America, we don't really understand family because we're a bunch of selfish buttholes. But if they won't do it, then you got your neighbors and your friends and your community, the people that you work with. And if they won't do it, there's charities and churches. Like my church right now is set up as a warming center. You can come there, you can get something to eat, you can hang out all day long, you can spend the night, they've got cots. We care, okay? But that's personal responsibility instead of going, that's the government's job and we don't want to touch any of that. So, we all know I hate the government, but we're going to fix this. Joey, come in here, let's talk about what you do. What is it you do for a living?
I own a piano bar in Deep Ellum.
You own a piano bar? Which one?
I own the only one, Louis Louis Piano Bar.
Do you love it?
I do love it.
Has COVID affected your business?
COVID has greatly affected our business.
Have you had COVID?
Yeah, just recently.
Did you survive?
I survived quite well, and so did my wonderful girlfriend here.
So did you guys die?
No, no.
But do you feel like your business is suffering?
Our business.
And if you guys don't go out there to his bar, then his business is going to die too from COVID. That'll be the first fatality of COVID. So don't do that crap. Go out there and support this man. He's got to pay for this. It's going to be like $11 billion, maybe more. Plus he's putting water in his kid's cereal. It's horrible. All right, so I'm going to get this thing fixed. We'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Love you. All right, so Home Depot is almost out of shark bites right now. I got really lucky and got some of these, and I know that every plumber I've talked to has been like, but you know shark bites the weakest, blah blah blah, and I know, okay, I get it, but we're trying to make stuff work, and all my plumbing stuff's out in Will's Point. So this is how a shark bite works. You shove either PEX, sorry, this is copper, PEX, or CPVC in there, and it's got things that grab it. And let me show you how easy this is to work, because you could be real dumb and still do this. Ready? And I'm real dumb. You got to seat it in there, and it's done. That's leak free, okay? And we're gonna put this in here. Let's see if I can do it without being an idiot. And that's done, and it's fixed. We turned it on, it's gonna work. So that's how easy it is to fix. It's just a matter of getting to it and getting all the stuff out there and bleeding a little bit, and not being afraid to help your people out. All right. Okay. All right, so we turned the water back on, and guess what happened? It worked first time. It was really amazing. So what we got underneath here, you can kind of pull closer here, Joe, is first of all, this wall has insulation over here and around everywhere else, but it's always difficult to get it insulated around the pipes, okay? So that, of course, is the place you need the insulation the most. Now, they've got pipe insulation around that, which is important. But there needs to be insulation in there too. When I'm building houses now, I do spray foam across the whole thing, so it's a non-issue. But this one did not have any insulation. It's on an exterior wall, and so it's freezing. I'm assuming the pipes were not dripping?
No. They
weren't dripping. So then what happens is it obviously expanded and it blew up. But I'm gonna show you something else too, and that's, we're gonna go outside.
That's bright.
So out here in the ice and snow, here's your outside hose bib, right? Well, this hose was hooked up to it, and that's not good. So when it's going to get below freezing or anywhere close, disconnect these. Put those hose. They got like a cones or whatever we call them tits over top of this, and then drip the pipes inside, because what happens is all this freezing cold wind is getting on here and then getting into that wall, and then it freezes those pipes. And so we don't want you to have that. I realize it's a little bit late in the game this time, but hopefully you learn your lesson, and then next time you don't have these problems, because they're expensive and they're just a major hassle. So all right, I'm on to the next one. Love you guys. So we did another leak today. This one, let me see if I got the old part. I don't. They had this is a hose bib on the outside here, which means that's where the hose is, and it just came disconnected. So it probably froze off or just came disconnected. But we spliced into it, and now there's no leaks. And the only leak that I can find is in my finger, because it's got red paint leaking out of it, which I didn't realize that was a thing, but it definitely, I didn't realize how much red paint I had inside my body. Well, less now. All right, well, have a good day. So it's still the same day, and we're still fixing pipes everywhere. This is obviously washer dryer hookup, so washer and dryer. And down in here, we had to take some of this pipe insulation off. And right here, you can come on and close. Right there, that's where the break is. So that's where the pipe froze, and it burst. And so we're gonna do the same thing we did on the other ones, cut it out and fix it. And hopefully it's just one leak, because I'm tired. I'm tired of this. So I got a question for you guys. It's a serious question. Exactly how much No More Tears shampoo do I need to put inside a baby's eyes before they stop crying? Because right now I'm at half a bottle, and this kid will not shut up. It's been about, I don't know, not even 28 minutes, because this wasn't that bad. And we found our culprit. That's right there. See, that's their, when you go to the doctor and they're like, hey, here's your cancer. We put it in a little bin for you. And you're like, could you just throw it away? It's kind of icky. But I like to leave it for people. Like, a cat chews the head off of a mouse and like, look what I did for you. Anyway, we got that fixed, and it's beautiful, and it's dry and leak free and all that. It is pretty drafty back here, so I think that probably they are going to put some spray foam in here and then fix the sheetrock after I'm gone, because I'm lazy. But I figure, you know what, it's getting late in the day, and I've done, I don't know, 52 leaks today or whatever it's been. I can't really count. And it's probably a good time for story time, right? You guys are getting ready to go to bed. You're probably tucked in your nice little warm beds with your hot chocolate, and you're like, I wish John would tell me a story. And so I'm gonna. Okay. This is a story about two angels, and there was an older angel and a younger angel, and they came down and they dressed like homeless people, right? Because they do that a lot, to see how we really are. Because a lot of people aren't really that good people. But anyway, some people are really good people, and this is a great opportunity to separate those two. So these two angels came down. It was very cold, like tonight, like a very cold night, and rainy. So they knocked on these rich people's door, and they said, it's very cold outside. And they're like, enough, slam. And they shut the door in their face, like, but seriously, like, it's really cold. And if we could just, please, and they're like, slam, get away from us, we're calling the cops. And they're like, please, there's nowhere else to go. Like, it is so cold, would you please let us in? And the wife was all like, let them stay in the basement. And so they're like, fine, you can go in the basement, don't touch anything, you know, you can stay here for the night and that's it. And then in the morning, just get out of here, we don't want to see you. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it felt that way, right? And so in the morning, the younger angel woke up and saw the older angel, and there was a hole in the wall, and the older angel had patched that hole and mudded it and textured it and painted it. I do a lot of that myself. And the younger angel was like, So they go on their way. And the next night, they go to this farmer's house, and they're very poor, and they only have one cow. And they knock on the door, and they're like, it's very cold. And before they can even get a word out their mouth, the farmer is like, come inside, it's cold outside. They close the door and they go, look, we don't have much food, but you can have what we've got. And like, that's very kind of you, thank you so much. And then they're like, you can stay in our bed. We don't have a second bedroom, but you can stay in our bed and we'll sleep on the couch. It's not a big deal. And we're just so happy that you're here. Is there anything else that we can do for you? We know how cold it is out there, and that's just miserable. And we've suffered before, and we don't want you to have to suffer. And so they were very grateful. And in the morning, they woke up, and the farmer's one cow was dead. And so they went on their way. And the younger angel was talking. He said, this is so unfair. I don't understand. Like, the rich couple was so mean to us, and they're so selfish and just rotten people inside. And you patched their wall, and you fixed their house for them. And this poor couple was so nice and so generous and so kind, and yet their only cow died. That was their only source of income, died. There's no justice in the world. This isn't right. And the older angel said, things are not always what they appear. Because when I looked through that hole in the wall, it was dark, but I saw that there was treasure in that wall. And so I patched that up so they would never find it. And the angel of death came last night for the farmer's wife, and I said, please take the cow instead. So we never know the full story. Anyway, that's how you fix a pipe. So I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, so I'm still fixing leaks because who else is going to do it? And this is a mobile home, and we can come over here, take a look. Right there, we had to take back some panels, but right there is a burst pipe, and then underneath here too, which is not comfortable at all. Back under there's another burst pipe, and I'll get a close-up on it later on once I'm actually under there, but it's wet and muddy and gross and stuff. But so I know what you guys are thinking. You're probably thinking to yourself, I wish that there was somebody in government that would help me. Well, it's not me. But, and I'm really sad to admit this, my friend Kim signed me up to run for Senate. So I guess I'm running for Senate. So please do not vote for me, because I got so much other stuff to do, and I don't want to have to be responsible for you and your problems too. So I guess if you like Ron Swanson, you know, that kind of attitude of just like small government and leave me alone, and we're not going to do anything to help you, then vote for me. Otherwise, you know, vote for somebody that's way more qualified than me. All right, thanks, bye. We're under this mobile home here. It's amazing. And we already fixed 2 leaks. They were in bad places, but here's another one. See it? There, that's what it looks like. We're about to fix that, and then there's another one over there. But it's very comfortable, very warm and dry. I highly recommend this. Like if you're thinking to yourself, I want a good career that would be, I don't know, a lot of fun, this is it. Also, Black Cat just came by. I think that's probably good luck. All right, so this house, we did one leak right here. Okay, this was in the wall. And we got a bunch of these. So this was torn off in here. You can see where the pipe burst right there. And we put this slip coupling. So slip coupling is pretty cool. What it is it's longer than it needs to be. And so you slide it on one side, and then there's a disconnect on these shark bites. And so you like pull it up until it gets into the other place, right? So we did that there, that's leak free. There's another one underneath here. We knew there was two right off the bat. So there's that one. And I got that fixed. So we went to Home Depot, and the guy in the plumbing section said, what do you need? We don't have it. Like the aisles are bare. There is nothing in the plumbing section because everybody's taking everything. So we're having to get creative. So then we turn the water on, and there's at least two more leaks down there. So let's see if we can find out where those leaks are. I don't know. They're around here somewhere. Oh, here's one, and here's one. So you can tell, same story, right? They all look the same. That's what a burst pipe looks like. So we got those. I got another one underneath, and I fixed that already with a slip coupling, and then another one I fixed with a slip coupling. But this one, we're gonna have to get creative because, like I said, when we went to Home Depot, they were like, yeah, we don't have anything. So this is a 3/4 inch break. So I cut it, and there's enough flex that I can put it back together, and we'll go 3/4, 3/4. But this has a T with 1/2 inches on it. And so what I'm gonna do is I've got 1/2 inch pecs, okay? And so I'm gonna take this 1/2 inch pecs, and hopefully it's gonna work for me. Come on, jerk. Everything's wanting to be difficult right now. It's all cold and wet like my soul. There we go. So we get that in there. And then we've got these plugs are not PEX, they're like Enviro Pro or something like that, and they only work on PEX, okay? Sorry, they're not Shark Bite. And they're one time, so Shark Bite you can take off, but this, once it's on, that's on. So that should be leak free there. We're gonna do the same thing over here, and I'm gonna get myself back underneath this mess and fix this. And hopefully that's all of it, because I think we're about out of parts here. And so there we go. Anything you want to talk about? You got anything you care about? Steve Lux is out fixing stuff. He's an amazing person. I ran into him at Home Depot. I guess my friend Andy Godwin, he's helping out. Basically everybody that's helping out right now, I'm like, you know what? Good on you. Because there's people that need their water, and you know, there's a bunch of hardworking men that are willing to do their part. So we're grateful for that stuff. All right, I'm gonna get back underneath this house and try to get this thing fixed. Love you, bye. All right, so I came out to this house, and I was hoping for one leak because, you know, you always hope. And there was one leak. But then there's another leak. And there's another leak. And there's another leak. This one, look at that. That thing blew out. Then there was another leak. We fixed that, right? But then check this out. This is the water meter. It's cracked. The water's just coming out here. I don't know how they would read that. But yeah, that's a problem. So that's 7 leaks. And then there's another one inside. But it turned out to be a beautiful day. I mean, we got a high of like 70 or something like that, which is amazing. I think that it's probably a good day to go fly a kite. But the problem is that the first rule about Kite Club is you can't talk about Kite Club. I know, dog, I know. He loves being the center of attention deficit disorder. All right, anyway, so moving on to the next one. Love you guys. See you next time. Bye. My name is John Tennell, and apparently I'm running for Senate. I knew that eventually this would happen. One of my friends said, "You'd be good at this," and they nominated me. But I am very busy, and so I want to give you a bunch of reasons why you should not vote for me. Number 1, I don't believe in frivolous lawsuits. Insurance is outrageous. Healthcare is so out of reach for the common person that we would rather die than go to the doctor. This needs to be brought back to a realistic level. Businesses have become liable for things that cannot be prevented. People are ruined over petty technicalities. If you elect me, I won't tolerate that. I will do my best to bring common sense back to the throne. So please, don't vote for me if you love the way things have been going. Number 2, my contracts are very short and simple. I don't hide things in fine print. I do what I say I'm going to do. If you aren't going to stand behind your word, then a piece of paper isn't going to ensure you fulfill your commitments either. I realize this is not politically correct, and I don't plan on changing. So please, don't vote for me. Number 3, I don't believe there is any justice in our current justice system. We incarcerate people for traffic warrants and minor drug offenses, while we let violent criminals go free. We make hardworking citizens feel like criminals until they begin to act like them. If you're a violent criminal, if you've committed armed robbery, rape, murder, or sex with a child, we will come and we will hunt you down. There will be justice for your crimes. Everyone else will be left alone. So please, don't vote for me. Number 4, we have a real epidemic. It's addiction. The war on drugs has not worked. People need deliverance from their addictions. I have personally experienced so much destruction from drugs and alcohol. I've witnessed thousands of my friends and family suffer because of addictions of all kinds. I don't believe people should go to jail for doing drugs. I believe people should go to jail for actually committing a crime. I understand that these two are often closely related, but until a crime is committed, people will be left alone. So please, don't vote for me. Number 5, I'm a businessman, not a politician. I have no business here. When I do something, I have skin in the game. I refuse to fail. I complete my jobs on time and on budget. I do what I say I will do. If I make a mistake, I make it right. Obviously, I don't belong in politics, so please, don't vote for me. Number 6, I move quickly. I call things what they are. I don't cater to liars with an agenda. One day, I will answer to God for what I've done, and I live my life accordingly. I also realize all this is temporary, and I don't hold on too tightly to things that are passing away. Clearly, I do not belong in politics, so please don't vote for me. Number 7, I believe that people should work for what they have, and once they do, it should not be taken away from them. Someone working full-time should not have their money taken away from them to give to someone who refuses to work because they feel entitled to the same rewards that everyone else has. So please, don't vote for me. Number 8, I believe in personal accountability. I believe in small government, really small government. It is not the government's place to step in and fix every problem. It is the government's job to protect our borders, build and maintain our roads, and provide justice when necessary. I realize there are people who need help. Here is the order they should be helped. Family should help that person first. If they won't, then their friends should help. If they won't, then their church should help. If they won't, then charities should help. The government just messes up everything it touches, so please don't vote for me if you're expecting free lobsters and steaks. If you want those things, go work for them, like the rest of us. Number 9, leaders lead. They are the first to go into battle. They take the biggest risks. They demonstrate by example how to overcome a problem or an enemy. Cowards shout orders from a safe place. I don't ask anyone to do anything I won't do. I take the risks. If I ask you to do it, that's because I'm ahead of you already doing it. But, and I can't emphasize this enough, elected officials are not our leaders. They are our representatives. That needs to be clearly established. People need to be given freedom. People don't need to be controlled. If you disagree with this, then please don't vote for me. Number 10, we need to stop talking about racism and prejudice if we ever want it to go away. Most people are kind if you just talk to them. Most people just want to live their lives in peace. Most people don't care what color you are or where you were born. They're just trying to make it. If someone is qualified to do a job, the government has no place forcing an employer to hire someone else just because of their sex or their ethnicity. That is the very definition of prejudice. We have to stop being so sensitive. And please, don't vote for me. Here's what genuinely concerns me. Everybody that I tell don't vote for me immediately says, now I want to vote for you. That is not my intent here. I am busy. I'm an author. I flip houses. I build houses. I'm a musician. I'm an actor. I'm a writer, a producer. I own several companies, and I honestly don't have time to be running Senate. Because when that happens, and if that happens, then all of a sudden all of your problems become my problems, and I have to deal with them. And sadly, I've overcome every problem that's come my way. And I just don't want to think about it, because I'm lazy. So please respect my laziness and don't vote for me.